Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my Gishki deck. Now, Gishkis are just a ritual monster deck. They focus on bringing out these very powerful ritual monsters, and they also do a ton of recycling, a ton of, bringing back from the graveyard and bringing back to the deck, and they can just keep using their resources to just keep the game going on and bring out their powerful monsters. So, most Gishki decks focus on these powerful rituals. A lot of the good ones nowadays focus on Zielgigas, which is the one that I'm currently using, but you can run a lot of different builds that use a lot of the other ritual monsters. So I'll talk about that a little bit in the side deck, but for now, my build just focused on Zielgigas. So first off, we have 3 Gishki Vision searching out the ritual monster, which is very, very nice. Obviously, we can also use him for the ritual, which is, again, very strong. And then 3 Gishki Shadow searching out the ritual spell card. Between these 2 cards, we're going to be able to search out what we need and special summon and all that, so it'll be very nice. And also Gishki Shadow, really nice that he's a 4-star, allowing us to do additional plays. And then 2 Gishki Advance, so allowing us to put whatever we want on top of the deck, which is very powerful in combination with some of the other stuff we can do. And then 2 Gishki Abyss, very nice that we can search out Gishki monsters, just really, really good, obviously, to discard vision or something like that. So it can be very, very nice. And then 2 Gishki Beast, another very nice card allowing us to swarm from the graveyard. So what we can do is bring back those lower Gishkis to use for rituals or bring out XYZs or other things. So very powerful. And then 2 Gishki Ariel, really nice with 1800 defense and another searcher. Gishkis are just so good at searching and getting what you need. And then 1 Gishki Vanity, it's up to you whether you want to use this or not. This is just used to kind of protect yourself when you're summoning ritual monsters. Very nice to deal with more back row. And then our boss, the focus of this deck, Zielgigas. So 3200 attack, really strong, can get by, most monsters. And its big effect is that you pay 1000 life points, draw a card, and if it's a Gishki, you shuffle a card back into the deck. So very powerful, especially with some of the things we can do, like Avance. We'll be, putting whatever we want on top of the deck, then revealing it to get things out. And, the big thing is that you can bring out more than one of these, keep activating these effects, go for OTKs and stuff like that. So it can be very powerful. For the spells, we have 3 Aquamirror, just really, really great ritual card allowing us to do the ritual summon, but also recycling itself very nicely so we can keep making those plays happen. And then 3 Salvage, so good for Gishkis, just so good, allowing us to recycle cards that have additional effects that we can keep using, so very abusable and allowing us to do a lot of plays. Then we have 3 MST. Obviously, back row is a big deal because we're focusing on specific boss monsters, so MST or Forbidden Lance, can be very good. And then we have 2 Pot of Duality. This deck can kind of lack in the draw power department, so I definitely like having Pot of Duality. The issue is it runs in the way of a lot of the things you're doing because you're doing a lot of special summoning. But without, things like this, you're going to wind up with the wrong hand combination or just a lack of cards. So I definitely like having at least 1 or 2 Pot of Dualities in here. Then we're running Dark Hole and Moray of Greed, again helping us with the draw power and getting the cards that we need. For the back row, we're going to be running 2 Traps Done. Again, dealing with opponent's back row is very important because of how this deck is more like OTK and more, just strong monsters at once. Otherwise, mostly staple traps, not much to say there. Definitely want some additional back row to protect our, weaker monsters early on. So now for the extra deck, we're going to have Herald and Gachi Gachi for 2 stars. Herald I like having just because of the nature of recycling Gishkis and reusing stuff can be useful. And obviously Gachi just to stall. A couple 3 stars just because they're going to get out with Bahamut Shark. So Mermail Abysstrite just really nice for defending, and Nightmare Shark as a beater can be very nice. So yeah, just coming off of Bahamut Shark for additional plays. Then 1 Lavalval Chain. Lavalval Chain really, really good in this deck, obviously for setting up what you need. Obviously you can, set up whatever you need for Zielgigas and do your plays. Exciton Knight, Silent Honor, 2 Bahamut Sharks, just giving you additional plays, can be very strong with its additional swarming power. 1 Abyss Dweller, obviously good in a lot of decks, but in a water deck even better. Gagaga Cowboy, Maestroke, Photon, and then we have Gustav Max and Gangaridai, just very powerful cards with the additional plays with Zielgigas, the ability to get them out multiple times. We'll be able to get these guys out and do even more plays and help the OTK go, and it just leads to really strong stuff, so definitely like having these guys. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, side decks in my videos are kind of just recommended cards that can also work with the main deck. This isn't meant to be a side deck for matches, these are cards I just want you to think about when you're building this deck on your own. So there's some other Gishki cards you might want to consider running. Chain and Noel can just help you kind of search out things a little bit, and Amelia can help you with back row as well. Deep Sea Diva is another one that I've seen some people run just to do some quick synchro plays and get out those Gishkis, so that's an interesting one. There's a Gishki XYZ, but it really doesn't help you do any of the things you're trying to do. It just helps you deal with, certain cards that search out by being sent to the graveyard. So I don't really see the point of running this unless it's, against a certain type of card. Again, there's other Gishki rituals you can run. Mind August can be really nice for recycling things. Gus Kraken can be useful to kind of mess with your opponent's hand. And Soul Ogre is another interesting one that a lot of people run. If you run Soul Ogre, you can run Trade-In and you can do loops and do all kinds of crazy stuff. So that's interesting. But obviously, I find that Zielgigas is a bit more powerful and allows you to do, a little bit stronger in terms of plays. But there's a lot of options with Gishkis in terms of how you want to run the rituals, and there's a lot of different things you could do. Salvage is another choice to bring back some of those Gishkis. Preparation of Rites, if you're running the lower level Gishki rituals, can be interesting. Gishki Photomirror is just a really crazy ritual card that has you pay life points to bring out those rituals, but that cost is pretty steep when you're bringing out those high level monsters, so it's up to you. You could run Spiritual Water Art, kind of a backup thing, and when you're using your Gishki monsters, not a big deal to send them to the graveyard, so that can be interesting. Skill Drain can be fine in this deck because you're bringing out powerful ritual monsters, and obviously the effect is important, but with Skill Drain, there's a good chance Gigas is going to be the strongest thing on the field anyway. And again, back row is a big thing, so if you want, you could just run a Royal Decree build and not run any traps, and just focus on more spells and monsters that allow the build to work. You can definitely run that with Royal Decree, and you don't have to worry as much about getting out what you need. So that's my Gishki deck. Definitely very fun. Has a lot of really crazy stuff. Can do a lot of loops and really extreme plays. A lot of different ways to run this, but again, Gigas seems to be the one that people seem to run most often. But I definitely want to try my hand at more Gishki builds. So if you guys have your own Gishki decks, you can post below. Let me know in the comments. You could talk about what cards you use and that kind of thing. I'm sure there's some cards I didn't think about that could be really useful for this deck. So let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.